Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I bring you a rather interesting phone that was very popular in its time for its value for money, the Xiaomi Redmi 10C. It is a mid-range phone launched in 2022 at a price of about $140 to $160 depending on the available version, and I found this phone for only $20 on the second-hand market. Will be worth buying in 2025? The first thing to highlight about this phone is its design, which is quite attractive and eye-catching. This black version looks very good and features a textured diagonal line finish that makes it visually appealing. The phone is built entirely on plastic, which makes it somewhat fragile against drops and scratches, so I recommend using a case to protect it. The phone weighs just over 190 grams without a case, which means that despite its size, it's a fairly standard weight, even today compared with some slightly heavier phones. The physical connectivity is typical. On the bottom there is a USB Type-C port version 2.0, the speaker output and the microphone. On the right side are the power buttons and the volume up and down buttons. On the top is the 3.5mm headphone jack. On the left side is the slot for 2 nano SIM cards and the microSD card slot with official support up to 1TB. On the back below the cameras there is a fingerprint reader that, although aesthetically outdated, works very well and unlocks the phone in about 1 second or less, allowing easy one-handed unlocking. This device has a 6.71-inch IPS LCD display with HD+ resolution. The screen might not be high quality and the viewing angles are not the best, but it is decent and large enough for enjoying multimedia content and social media. The refresh rate is 60Hz, which was normal at the time since higher refresh rates were a luxury and not very common. The display's weakest point for me is its maximum brightness of about 400 nits, making it less suitable for any sunny outdoor use because visibility will be poor. The phone has a single button speaker which, despite being only one, sounds fairly loud and of good quality. The drawback is that when watching a video or playing a game you can easily cover the speaker with your hand or a finger, which is not a serious problem but worth keeping in mind when buying this device. For its time, this phone offers an impressive value for money and in my opinion it still holds up. It is powered by the Snapdragon 680 processor, which in 2022 was a very good mid-range chip with integrated Adreno 610 graphics. As a curiosity, it is the same processor found in the Samsung Galaxy A05s. The Redmi 10C was available in two configurations, 3GB of RAM with 64GB of storage, and the slightly more expensive version with 4GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, which is the one I have and the one that has aged better in my opinion. Regardless of version, the RAM is LPDDR4X and the storage is UFS 2.2, giving decent read and write speeds compared with phones that use eMMC 5.1 storage. The phone originally shipped with Android 11 under MIUI 13 and received 2 more Android updates, so it currently runs Android 13 under MIUI 14, meaning it is not completely obsolete and many apps run well. The phone includes dual-band Wi-Fi 5, so it does not support newer Wi-Fi 6 or 7 standards, but still offers modern, good and fast connectivity. It also has Bluetooth 5.0 and supports only 4G networks, so there is no 5G support at all. The device includes NFC, allowing easy contactless payments. Despite running a fairly heavy software like MIUI, the 4GB RAM version with the Snapdragon 680 makes the phone run very smoothly, and the whole system is manageable. Occasionally there is a small stutter, but it is nothing serious. Thanks to UFS storage, apps open quickly and the phone feels generally fast, so every task like browsing the web, watching YouTube or using social networks such as Facebook present no problems. For a device that was inexpensive at launch, it still delivers more than acceptable performance for daily use. And the battery is quite good, although it has degraded with years of use. With this unit, I recorded roughly 7 hours on screen on time with mixed usage, which I consider a solid all-day result without needing to plug in. This phone supports 18W fast charging, but the box includes only a 10W charger that charges the phone to 100% in just over 2 hours. For faster charging, you must buy an 18W charger separately. Thanks to the Snapdragon 680, gaming performance is very good. It was once considered the go-to cheap gaming phone and still performs well. It runs 2D titles without issue, including demanding 2D games like Angry Birds 2. In 3D it also stands out, moving Call of Duty Mobile instantly on high quality settings, without noticeable stutters in matches, making my experience with this game very positive. Heavier titles such as Workstation struggle even on the lowest settings. It is playable but not enjoyable, so if you want a phone dedicated to modern heavy games, there are much better options on the market. The strongest area for me is emulation. The Snapdragon chip lets the phone run many emulators smoothly because most are well optimized for these processors. 8-bit and 16-bit platforms run perfectly. For 32-bit consoles, PlayStation 1 via DuckStation configured to 1080p shows excellent performance even in heavy games like Bloody Roar 2. Nintendo 64 runs without issues, including GoldenEye 007. Dreamcast with Redream runs very well. I could not increase resolution because I use a trial version of the emulator, but the phone could easily handle 2 or 3 times the console's native resolution. PSP using PPS SPP runs demanding games titles like God of War at 2x resolution smoothly, delivering good quality for one of the heaviest PSP games. For PlayStation 2, using either SX2 with the fastest emulation settings, I was surprised that this phone handles many straightforward PS2 titles without problems. For console emulation overall, this phone is more than acceptable and earns a strong positive in this area. Lastly, we move to the cameras. The phone has a 50 megapixel main sensor and a 2 megapixel deep sensor, but the secondary sensor is basically useless and serves only marketing purposes, so we effectively have a single usable camera. The results are not bad. Photos are not very sharp and lack fine detail, and colors are somewhat bland compared with better cameras, but for single snapshots, the camera is more than adequate. Autofocus is good, and it captures shots reliably for its price range. Video recording is available at 1080p 30fps, but there is no optical stabilization, so handheld clips will show noticeable shakes. Overall, video quality is acceptable. The front camera is a 5 megapixel sensor, a very basic selfie camera that is not suitable for professional social media, but fine for casual photos with friends and family. Front video also records at 1080p 30fps also, with no optical stabilization too. In short, the camera system did not particularly impress me, because it is very basic, but it should cover most users' everyday needs. And that's everything I wanted to cover about this phone. Overall, I had a very good experience with this device. Although it was inexpensive at launch, it has aged well, mainly thanks to its processor, which provides enough power for many everyday tasks. In my opinion, I do recommend buying this phone in 2025 if you're looking for decent performance at a very low price. On the second-hand market, you can pick out the 128GB version, which is the one I recommend most, for very little money and without major issues. Despite shortcomings I mentioned earlier like the display and the camera, most of you will be able to enjoy this device, use it as a primary phone, a secondary phone, or give it to a child of a parent who needs a basic smartphone. And that's it, my friends, I'm signing off now. I hope you liked today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, it's free and helps me keep making quality videos for you. Also hit the bell to stay notified for new uploads. I see you in the next video, bye bye!